So if you're a fan of first-person shooters, you might be wondering if there are actually any decent budget ones on the Switch. And indeed there are. For solo outings you have games like Bright Memory Infinite, and multiplayer-wise, Apex Legends is one of my personal favourites. But today we're taking a look at Sandstorm Strike Force from DEMENCI Games, and this, my friends, is not one of the good ones. So hit that like button, subscribe for more Nintendo Switch content, and let's take a look at it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the game starts off fucking amazing. We have our breakdancing hero here on the main menu, and there are in fact 3 characters to choose from, each with their own little poses for you to enjoy. But what I really like about them is the descriptions. Check this out. First up, we have Assassination Hero, Sniper Hero Assassinator XX, US Army Last Hope Last Chance. A modern day free shooting and sniper shooting games where you end up challenging the world of dirty cops, criminals, and strike them down. Next we have this bad boy doing the body roll, and he's called Hero Trainer Sniper Commando Gun Shooter, Prison Break, spelled BRAKE, Gun Shooter. Eliminate the escapees, prisoners, and take out the resistance as duty calls it is needed. Finally, we have Attacker Pro Sniper Ghost Shooter Last Hope Last Survival. A hulking beast of a guy flexing his shit like a bad man, and his bio says, let's guard the city and take out the dirty cops, criminals, in this battle against crime sniper shooting games. Each of these characters though has sniper shooter and attacker stats, which mean absolutely fuck all, as well as shooter details, and I assume these are supposed to be the combat record, but they include things like number of enemies, percentage of win, award granted and bonus power, tranning, and best of all, TECHNO. But of course, none of these mean anything either. There's also the game's awesome live-action trailer for you to enjoy, so the boys over at DEMENCI Games have really gone all out in this one to build up the hype with it and really give some sort of backstory to these heroes. Getting back to the game though, the main menu gives the usual. A couple of different shops for you to buy shit from using currency from completing missions. You have the inventory shop, which contains a sum total of 4 different guns for you to unlock, including the classic M416 assault rifle and the sniper, which is basically an AK-47 with a scope slapped on it. And then you have the shop, which only sells medpacks. But as you'll soon see, these extortionately priced shitboxes prove to be invaluable. Finally, there's the options menu, which has a single sound setting toggle. Now, getting into the game modes, we have 3 of them, each containing 10 missions, but we have the Elite missions, the Royal Battle, and the Combat Battlefield, and the entire menu system in this game is absolutely atrocious and is a nightmare to actually navigate. Kicking things off with the Elite missions though, we find ourselves in a warehouse of sorts, and we're tasked with killing a bunch of terrorists. In the top left corner, we have a radar which is barely functional but gives us a rough indicator of where they're located, and at the bottom of the screen we have a counter showing how many enemies are left, as well as an ammo counter for our weapon, which again doesn't actually work properly. The first person shooting in this one is about as basic as it comes though. We move around and aim with the thumbsticks, sprint by holding the L button, and can aim down sights using ZR and shoot using ZL. And that's not a mistake there. These geniuses decided that traditional aiming and shooting wasn't the bag and decided to switch the buttons around, which really messes with the muscle memory of someone who's been playing FPS games almost their entire life. What's really screwed up about the aiming though is the way in which the bullets don't actually hit where you're aiming with most of the guns, so when you're aiming down sights, you have to actually aim off to the side of the enemies. Oh, and there's also this gun whose reflex sight just floats along in mid-air when you perform a melee attack. Anyway, the enemy AI in this one is pretty basic and poses no challenge whatsoever. They'll either spot you from a mile away or won't notice you when you're about 3 feet away and then struggle to path around objects to find and shoot at you. but in this first mission you can take them down in just a few shots. After completing a mission though, you'll be rewarded with some cash and get to move on to the next one. However, you'll soon discover that all 10 of the elite missions take place in the exact same warehouse and contain 3 to 5 enemies, so if you played one of them, you basically played them all. Moving on to the Royal Battle Game mode, I decided to switch up my character, which didn't make a blind bit of difference, and this first mission appeared to take place within a city-like environment on the thumbnail. However, dropping into the mission, I instead found myself in a desert area surrounded by buildings, palm trees and ISO containers. Once again though, the objective was to eliminate the enemies, only this time, none of them actually appeared to be taking any hits from my bullets, and I had purchased a couple of new weapons, but neither they or my original weapons could take these fuckers down without burning through 3 or 4 clips. And there was the odd occasion where I'd take them down using only a small amount of bullets, and others where their AI would just completely break, but most of the time I'd run out of ammo and have to switch to another weapon just to get the job done. Once again though, despite the images for each of these missions appearing to be different, each and every one of them took place in the same desert map. Finally, moving on to the combat battlefield and once again switching characters, which made no difference whatsoever, this final set of missions dropped me into a shipping area complete with stacks of cargo containers and a large cargo ship with some of the lowest resolution textures I think I've ever seen in a game. But as before, the objective was to take out the same sets of enemies, and yet again they proved to be invincible, and I couldn't even kill a single fucking enemy in this one without having to start over. Conceded, I decided to buy a set of med packs and managed to burn through 2 of them before finally taking them all out and moving on to the next mission, which turned out to be the same map and the same mission, and continued to be the same map and the same mission until I finally buckled and gave up around 3 or 4 missions in. So, as you can see, Sandstorm Strike Force is an absolute abortion of a game with absolutely no redeeming features, and unsurprisingly, the screenshots and description for the game are complete bullshit, bearing no resemblance to actual gameplay. The menus are a broken mess, the shooting is a broken mess, the enemies are a broken mess, and there are 3 maps in total which just look an absolute mess. But contrary to the eShop's descriptions, there are no cobot operations, no hostages to rescue, and no enemy infrastructures to sabotage. To me though, it's completely baffling how a company like Nintendo, who are so hell-bent on maintaining their squeaky clean appearance, can continually fail its customers by allowing these disgusting scam game publishers to operate on the Switch, with complete disregard for any kind of consumer rights laws, and offering no way of reporting them or refunding the piece of shit games they produce. In my opinion, it's about time that they stepped up and did something about it. But so long as people keep buying games like this and Nintendo keep turning a profit on them, it's unlikely that we'll ever see the last of them. That though is about it for this one. So if I saved you some cash with this review, consider dropping a like, and for more like it, consider subscribing to the channel. But for now, thanks to the patrons of the channel and to you the viewers for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.